Hey guys, Chris Potter here, and thanks to Wowhead, I'm going to be talking today about what it takes to become a top raider in World of Warcraft. Deep Shades, also from Method, has contributed his thoughts to the video as well. So, first of all, what made me start playing World of Warcraft all the way back in 2007 was actually the South Park episode Make Love Not Warcraft. While that episode poked a lot of fun at people who played WoW, I still thought the game looked really awesome and I wanted to play it. I started playing extremely casually for the first few years. I didn't really reach max level until kind of late Wrath of the Lich King. But I first started raiding more seriously when I joined Rapid Eye Movement at the start of 2013. And I became an officer in that guild. And while we were only rank 150 or something when I joined, we had big ambitions to become a really good guild. So in Throne of Thunder, like I said, we were around 150 world. Siege of Orgrimmar, we jumped to world 15. Then Heimel, World 12, Blackrock Foundry, World 10, Hellfire Citadel, World 6, and then of course, right before Legion, we merged with Method, and we achieved multiple World First and top 3 ranks throughout Legion, and also now into BFA. So how do you get noticed? The biggest way that top guilds find out about someone is usually word of mouth, or someone in the guild having played with that person before in a different guild or in a different game even. While getting good logs on Warcraft logs isn't a bad thing, it isn't that important to a World First guild since most players can get rank 1 logs on farm if they really want to. What impresses top guilds is if you can have people vouch for you that you're a good player on farm, or if you have video recordings or progress logs in recent years. Don't give us a recording if you're playing in vanilla or something, since basically how people play on progress is often different to farm. And all that matters to top guilds is progress. We want the best progress players. The way that I myself got into a World First guild was very different than most. Like I said, I was an officer in Rapid Eye Movement, and then we merged into Method right before Legion. For most people that join Method, it definitely requires some luck. If you happen to be wanting to join at the same time, that we are also in desperate need of a certain role or class, like we just had people quit the game or something from that class, we'll often lower our standards a little bit to who we will trial, just to try our luck. Because over the years, we found quite a few gems in the rough, you could call them, type of players who have come from guilds below world rank 100, and they've turned out to actually be really, really good players. Generally though, you need to know someone in the guild that can vouch for you, or like I said, just get really lucky and apply at the same time that we need that specific class or role. And then obviously you need to perform well enough for your actual trial. Also, one of the biggest things for becoming a top raider is your attitude. The biggest thing is to always look on how you can improve yourself. Certainly at the top end, people tend to do that less, which is a bad thing. We kind of get comfortable where we are, but really the biggest thing you can do is always look at your mistakes and think, what can I do better? Even if you're by far the best player in your guild, first of all, try and get into a better guild. You're not going to get much better playing with the same people all the time. You need to play with better and better players. But back to my point is that even if you're by far the best player, you need to look what you can do more. How can you help the raid more? How can you carry the raid more? Thinking, oh, I'm not the one causing us to wipe, so I'm doing fine. That's kind of an average player mentality. What you need to do is think, how can I help my teammates? How can I carry the raid more? And that really is the key mentality to becoming a top player. Our goal for Uldir was 3 characters, but some people leveled a 4th voluntarily. We increased our roster size now since Uldir, and most people just focus on 2 characters. All of us have our main character and our main ult set, and the 3rd character is usually only for split raids. There are a few people in the guild though, tanks, healers, and certain DPS that needs to keep a 3rd character, prepared as well. How do we choose what classes to play? Most people usually stick to their main. Like I said, tanks and healers are more likely to jump around a lot. DPS mostly stick to one role. If someone does re-roll their main, it's because the class is either really, really bad and unplayable for the content.
Why isn't Kana playing with the other guys right now? Why not?
Buff Shaman.
That's all we can say, guys.
That's literally it.
Buff Shaman.
What can you do when your class is not good?
Or we just have recruited or ended up with too many people on the same class and we need to spread out a bit. The ult class picking has 2 factors. First of all, what does the player enjoy playing as an ult? And what does his main class have that, or lack that another class has? So you kind of need to balance it out. For example, Deep Shades has a Warlock, which is a good multi-dotting class and doesn't have an immunity. So for him, it makes sense for him to have a good single target class and a class with an immunity, so Hunter or Mage as an ult. All relevant characters get decked out with gear from our Mythic Split raids, so the only requirement for the player is to farm as much AP as possible. World quests every single day on the main is kind of the bare minimum, and a lot of people are doing additional island expeditions as well as world quests on ults. What does that mean for our playtime schedule? Before 8.1, it wasn't too bad, but now artifact knowledge is gone, which means that we have to basically just play until the raid now. We're not going to get any more artifact knowledge, so basically might as well start farming now. You need to farm now. And there are new incursions and Darkshore world quests, so it added on a lot of time for us to play the 8.1 patch. We main raid for at least 6 hours a week, and then we have to do mythic dungeons, weekly mythic dungeons on the important characters, island expedition caps, PvP caps, and then world quest swoops every day, incursions, Darkshore world quests, all of that stuff. And then people obviously do additional islands and stuff, but without the additional islands and just those set things, it's looking around 25 hours a week. And as you can see, that is well beyond a part-time job. It's getting towards a full-time job, and this is just for the outsider progress requirements. For the record, previous expansions were nowhere near as bad as this. Legion did have some farming, but it was for a way shorter period of time, and the gains diminished very quickly. That's not the case in BFA. We basically just need to blast as hard as we can. BFA is just insane on the current AP farming requirements, mostly thanks to the changes in 8.1. We are testing the bosses on the PTR, and everyone's often checking out different talents and specs. With, for example, several warlocks in the guild, everyone can try a different spec or different talents on a boss and see what works and what doesn't. We also see what Blizzard are doing to the classes in terms of tuning, and we can kind of, judge, oh, this isn't going to be that good now, this is going to be good now. Most classes have good theory crafting websites or discords or communities, and usually people in the guild, there are some people in the guild, but usually people in the guild don't actually do the math ourselves. We just look elsewhere for the math, and then we take the information and judge from there. Real life usually is only an issue on progress. The people that work in our guild take vacations so they can make the progress. Usually they take around 2 weeks of vacation for each progress, and heroic week they might go to work, or they might take a half week or take half days or something. For the first progress is usually only 1 week, or for the first progress like all day. People that have exams around progression time need to learn a lot before progression, so they literally can just go to an exam and come straight back. If people know they have exams around progression time, they need to just swat really hard all year and then stop learning, when the new expansion or progress comes out, and then just go to the exam and come back. That's basically what they do. Outside of progress, if someone can't make a raid, it's really not a big deal. We tried to give some people that work a lot less characters to keep up, so they can just do their one character and then raid. They don't need to keep up multiple ults. Generally, I clean my PC and house and all that kind of stuff in advance of the race, get any chores done that need to be done, and just make sure that when progress comes, I can fully focus on progress. Gingy, for example, is pre-cooking his food, and that way he doesn't need to waste time in the lunch breaks to actually cook the food. Quite a few people do that, I think.
I'm very excited to eat this pizza. I haven't eaten all day. I have my little palate cleanser. Let's check on how it's going. Okay. Safety first. Oh, f***. Been some small issues.
Some people buy energy drinks, some people just drink water. Everyone kind of has their own thing, but the main goal that everyone has is that they can spend as much time as possible and as much focus as possible during progress on the progression race. We test the bosses on the PTR, and we tried to find some strats already. In Heroic Week, we check if they still work, because quite often Blizzard will change stuff from the PTR to live servers. Most of the tactics we do actually come on the fly while we're doing progress though, so we don't really learn that much beforehand. It's usually learning while you're doing the boss and seeing what works. Sometimes we go back to Heroic mode during Mythic progress to actually try tactics out, because for instance on Kill Jaden, we wanted to try different tactics for the darkness phase. but obviously it takes quite a lot of time, and you know, you have to play good to get to the darkness phase on Mythic Jaden. So rather than getting there, trying a tactic and then wiping, we went back to heroic mode and repeatedly tried different tactics in the darkness phase, since we could get to the darkness phase on heroic mode really easily. Usually the first day of progress, I'm extremely excited and nervous, and over the course of the week it kind of settles down until we reach the final boss, where the excitement and nerves will shoot up again. I personally am a player who does get tilted by my own mistakes, and quite a big thing for me is to try to not overthink a mistake during the next pool. So if I screw something up on a previous pool, I will really try to not think about it in the next pool, but sometimes I will, and then that will cause me to play worse. So that's a big thing for me. Generally, I really enjoy progress. I enjoy playing progress with a group of people that I've played with for a long time, and enjoy their personalities, and just I love the feeling of progress with the big team. I think everyone in the guild enjoys progress, otherwise they probably wouldn't put up with all the garbage AP farming outside of it. You have to remember that for us to actually play progress at world first level, we're needing to do all these world quests and everything every day for the rest of the year. So I think everyone who's doing that enjoys progress enough that that's worth it. Well, I've been Chris Potter, guys, with the help of Deep Shades and Wowhead. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to Method, and yeah, we look forward to the next raid, and I hope you guys do too. Bye, guys.